Hey book friends, welcome back to another video. Welcome to my Historathon TBR video. So if you saw my previous video, which should have just gone up a couple days ago, I played my spinner game to pick my November TBR with the intention of using some of those books to craft my Historathon TBR for this year. And so I have not been reading a ton of historical fiction this year. I've just not been in the right headspace, but I am so excited to pick up some historical fiction. I'm not sure what it is about fall, but it's really calling to me and I am so excited. So that's what we're gonna do in today's video, is that I am going to be showing you my TBR for Historathon for this year. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you have been coming for a while. So like I said, today's video is Historathon TBR video. I can't wait to share the books with you today. And so I had the most fun picking. So like I was saying, in my previous video, my spinner game picked 5 historical fiction books for me. And so I have since rearranged them, and I was gonna make a video on a different day, but I got it all together and I'm so excited. So I'm turning the camera back on and I'm going to share with you how I set up my TBR for Historathon. So first things first, I will link everything down below. There's 3 hosts: Amanda from The Curly Reader, Lindsey from Lindsey's Little Library, and Gloria from Gloria Z. Thompson, I believe. So I'll link them all down below. I'll link the announcement in case you're interested in participating. It is basically a month-long readathon dedicated to historical fiction, but this year the ladies were really creative, in my opinion, in their prompts for how they decided to do this. I printed off the prompts, but like I said, I'll link the announcement down below. But what I like about it is that the books hook on to each other. So once you pick one book, you kind of have to use that book to pick the next one and all the way down. And so it was just kind of fun. It was like putting together a puzzle. And so that's what I did with all of these books. So let me just hop in with the first one, which the first one is a book with Lost in the title. So this is the group read, which I have been wanting to pick up, an Ellen Marie Wiseman book for a long time. So I'm really happy this gave me an excuse to do so. And this book is called The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. So this book is about a girl named Sage, and Sage has a twin, an identical twin, but she lost her twin, Rosemary, when she was really young. Like, she died at like 6 years old or something like that, or so Sage understood. But then later in life, she learned that that actually wasn't the case, that Rosemary was put into an institution, and an infamous one that is known now for being quite terrible. And so Sage then starts investigating. She decides that she's gonna go to the institute, she's gonna find her sister, but when she gets there, she finds out that her sister has been missing, I believe, for a couple weeks or something like that. And so Sage has to kind of get to the bottom of it. And I've heard this is really good. I've heard it's really hard to read, and mainly because it was a real place. These kids really got sent to this institute. So that's the first book that is on my TBR. So then it says a book set in a different country than this one. And I believe this is set in the US, in New York or someplace like that. And so I picked this book, which I've just been wanting to get on a TBR. I talked about this book in my end of 2022 book video. I've just been wanting to read this so badly. And so I'm glad this has given me the chance to do it. It's called The Women of Chateau, Lafayette by Stephanie Dray. So this book is about women and a castle in France, and it covers 3 different time periods. So 1774, so French Revolution, 1914, so World War I, and 1940, World War II. And it follows the women that are in charge of the castle and how they help protect everybody that's there. I think it sounds really good. I love the cover, but that actually leads me to the next prompt, which is a book that has a similar cover. So I'm gonna hold this up and I'm gonna put a picture up of the book that I chose, because I'm still waiting from the library to get this, but I think I should be able to get it in November. And the book is One Woman's War, and I cannot remember the author, but like I said, I will have the picture up here. And I feel like just the coloring looked really similar, as well as kind of the backdrop of the castle and the woman in the middle. I don't know. I think they look similar enough. So One Woman's War is about the real Miss Moneypenny from kind of the James Bond films, and it talks about how she was a spy and how she lived her life and what she did and things like that. So I think it sounds really good. It isn't nonfiction, it is definitely historical fiction. So that is the next one on my list. So from there, let me look. It says a book that is set in a different decade. And so this one is set in 1912. The Lost Jewels by Christy Manning. And so this is another one that my spinner picked for me, so I was happy to be able to kind of squeak it in here. And it's also fairly short, which makes it more fun for a readathon. But this is about a jewelry historian in present day, and it sounds like the art historian is actually related to the woman involved in these jewels, or the loss of these jewels back in 1912. It says there's an impoverished Irish immigrant, Essie Murphy, which happens to be the great-grandmother of the woman in modern day. So it kind of tells the story, I believe, of what happened to these jewels. I think it's going to be really good. I hope it is. I haven't really heard anybody talk about it, but that is my next book. And then it says an author whose last name starts with the same letter. So this was Manning. And so I was able to get another book from my spinner wheel on here. And this is a Susan Meisner book. And it's The Last Year of the War. So this book sounds so good. It's about two teenagers in America during World War II. One is Japanese American and one is just kind of a typical American. But the problem is that girl, the typical American, her dad has been suspected of having Nazi tie-ins, like a sympathizer of some sort. And so it sounds like for some reason her whole family has been exchanged for American prisoners in Germany. And so she gets brought into the war. And I am not sure where the other teenager comes in. I believe there's some internment camp stuff going on. So it just sounds good. And I love Susan Meisner's writing style. She just really brings me into her stories, and so I'm curious about this. I haven't read too many World War II books that kind of are set more in America than Europe, so I think that will be interesting. Okay, then it says a book that has fewer pages than this one, and so this one has 388. Let me double check my choice here. Yes, it works. 333 pages in this book. So When the World Was Ours by Liz Kessler, and I believe this is a young adult book about three kids pre-World War II that are friends, but yet they come from different backgrounds and they experience the war very differently. So their lives take them to Germany, England, Prague, Poland, and I believe this is about just them coming back together and friendship and family and things like that. So I've heard it's really good and really age appropriate, so I just wanted to pick it up because I want to read the story, but I also want to see if it's something my kids could read later on. So pick that one up. And then the next one is Protagonist of a Different Race. And so I picked up this book. And so this is in a recent haul of mine, and I'm so excited I can read it so soon. So this is Luck of the Titanic by Stacey Lee. And this book is about a girl who is living in England, but she is Chinese in nature. And during this time frame, so you're talking early 1900s, if we're talking the Titanic, Chinese people were not allowed into America, and so she was trying to find her brother. I guess her brother was in New York City or something like that, so she sneaks on to a ship, and that ship is the Titanic. So that just sounds so good, and I'm just curious. I really want to read this book. So I'm happy I got this on my Historathon TBR. So let's see, next book. A book by an author who is blurbed or reviewed on the previous book. So that prompt, I feel like, was the hardest prompt of this whole readathon. And so on this one, it had a number of good people on the back. I just didn't have any of the books on my shelves, except for this one. So Carrie Maniscalco, who is the author of Stalking Jack the Ripper, said, a masterful, gripping tale for the ages. So that leads me to the second book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I'm not sure if it has a name for the series. Regardless, the second book is called Hunting Prince Dracula. Basically, these books follow a girl named Audrey, I believe. I just read the first one. I should be able to remember that. Audrey, who's in early 1900s, late 1800s, something like that. And she comes from a rich family. She's very interested in science, which is one of the things I really loved about the first book. And so she got involved with her uncle, who kind of did forensic science, and the police pulled him into the Jack the Ripper cases, and she got involved. And it went from there, and I just really enjoyed it. I found it to be a very engaging story. I liked her character a lot. It was YA, so it read really quickly, and so I just really liked it. So I'm excited to get to the second one, Hunting Prince Dracula. And then the last book is the same number of letters in the title. This was hard, so I counted that. I think it was 15, and then I had to go count all the titles on my shelves. But I found one. Which I was really excited about, and that's this book, The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. So I love Marie Benedict's writing, or at least I love the other Einstein. I haven't picked up anything else from her. I've just been buying her books since that one. But she is known for kind of taking figures in history and writing books about them, obviously. So this one is about a girl named Belle who has been brought on to be the personal librarian for J.P. Morgan and to run this famous library in New York City, to become part of the society, all these things. And she does that, but she kind of holds back this secret about herself. And the secret is that she is the daughter of the first Black graduate of Harvard, I believe. But she kind of has lighter skin, so people don't know that's who she is. So it sounds so good. I want to get to this one. So hopefully I can get through all my other ones to read this. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't have to read them all in order. I didn't really think of that. I don't know if I can just pick from my stack. I'll probably do whatever I want. These readathons are just for fun anyway, but it was really fun to be able to pick my books from that. So there's 9 books on my TBR, my Historathon TBR, and to add that to the books that I chose with my spinner is probably too many books. It's not probably, it's definitely too many books. But that doesn't stop me from choosing my books and giving me a really fun stack to choose from for the month of November. And so if I can hold it up without it falling. Okay, so there's my stack, you guys. I am so excited. I'm so excited for this. I hope these books will get me back into historical fiction and not send me back into another historical fiction slump, because sometimes it's just too heavy. It's too hard for me to read the historical fiction, but I think these ones are good options, and I'm really excited to dive in. So let me know down below, are you guys participating? If not, you should. If you like historical fiction, it's just really fun. Again, check out all the links for the co-hosts of the readathon as well as the announcement video. And yes, that's what I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. And otherwise, you guys, I'll see you in the next book video. All right, take care.